TR-571, a trusted model in commercial aviation, departed Anchorage en route to Reykjavik, Iceland. For many on board, it was just another routine flight, some heading home, but none would ever reach their destination. The aircraft took off in extreme conditions as one of the decade's most violent storms ravaged the Arctic, lashing the sky with brutal winds and relentless snow. At 11:30 p.m., Captain Richard Caldwell made his final communication with air traffic control. His voice, usually composed and assured, now carried an edge of tension and urgency. Severe turbulence, 2 engines down, dangerously low altitude, immediate calm, the transmission cut off. On the other end, controllers scrambled to respond, calling TR-571 repeatedly. Silence. No reply. Over the next few minutes, radar captured the aircraft tossing violently, battered by furious winds. Then, at 11:17 p.m., flight TR-571 vanished. No signal, no trace. Just a flickering dot on the screen, then nothing. The plane, its passengers, and its crew had disappeared into the unforgiving Arctic ice. The disappearance of TR-571 triggered one of the most extensive search efforts of its time. The morning after, rescue teams launched a massive operation along the plane's projected path. But the Arctic does not surrender its secrets easily. 8 specialized aircraft and 4 icebreakers scoured every kilometer of the frozen sea. Helicopters swept the skies while divers braved the frigid waters, desperately searching for any sign of wreckage. Yet, TR-571 seemed to have been swallowed whole by the ice. No floating debris, no radar signal, no distress beacon. As days stretched, into weeks hope dwindled. The Arctic revealed its merciless nature. Relentless snowstorms erased any trace, and the deadly cold made prolonged searches nearly impossible. After a month of exhaustive efforts, the operation was called off. Flight TR-571 was officially declared lost. The media dubbed it the Bermuda Ice Triangle. Aviation experts were left baffled. How could an entire plane vanish without a single clue? Theories abounded. Some believed the storm had obliterated the aircraft on impact. Others speculated that TR-571 had plunged beneath the shifting ice, buried under tons of snow and frozen water. Yet one mystery lingered. If the plane had crashed, why hadn't its emergency signals activated? The fate of TR-571 seemed destined to remain buried in Arctic silence. That is, until 3 decades later, when something extraordinary happened. January 2024. 37 years after TR-571's disappearance, the case had long since faded into aviation history, just another unsolved enigma. Then, on a quiet night in Anchorage, an accidental discovery changed everything. Jonathan Whitmore, a leading expert in Arctic climate research, was analyzing satellite data when he spotted something unusual. Amid the vast, icy expanse, a strange, metallic reflection surfaced in military satellite imagery. The object lay deep beneath the ice, yet its shape was undeniable. This was no natural formation. At first, Whitmore assumed it might be remnants of an old survey ship or abandoned military equipment. But when Amanda, a young radar specialist, rushed into the lab clutching fresh thermal scans, his stomach dropped. "You need to see this." The new data revealed something far more unsettling. Not only was there a massive metallic structure buried beneath the ice, but the thermal scans showed something else. Disturbing patterns crisscrossing the area, as if something, or someone, had been traversing the site for years, leaving deep trails in the ice. The dimensions of the buried object were an exact match for TR-571. The impossible had happened. The lost plane had been found. Sorry for the interruption. Before we continue, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. Your support means a lot to us. Thank you. The discovery spread like wildfire among scientific and government circles. Within a week, one of the largest Arctic expeditions ever assembled was underway. Heavy helicopters, drilling equipment, and an elite team of specialists prepared to uncover the truth lurking beneath the ice. Vehicles and dozens of experts were mobilized for a perilous mission. recover the remains of TR-571 before the spring thaw erased them forever. Time was a relentless adversary. With each passing day, temperatures climbed and the ice grew increasingly unstable. But there was something the researchers had yet to uncover, something no satellite image could predict. The plane was not alone in that frozen wasteland, and what awaited them there would challenge everything they thought they knew about nature. The Arctic expedition had a clear objective: retrieve the wreckage of TR-571 before it was lost again. But as soon as they arrived at the coordinates provided by the satellite, the team sensed something was off. Elizabeth Harper, an animal behaviorist, was the first to notice. She had spent her career studying wildlife in the harshest environments on Earth, yet nothing in her experience had prepared her for this. Standing at the edge of the excavation site, a deep, inexplicable unease settled over her like a second layer of frost. Something was wrong. The Arctic was never truly silent. There was always the distant groan of shifting ice, the whisper of wind carving through snowdrifts, the occasional crack of frozen ground splitting under pressure. But here, the silence was different. It was too deep, too absolute. It felt as if the land itself was holding its breath. Her voice barely rose above a whisper. Something isn't right with the fauna here. At first, the signs were subtle, too faint for most to notice. Tracks scattered across the ice, barely visible beneath layers of shifting frost. Most dismissed them as those of wolves or polar bears. But Catherine, a seasoned tracker, saw what others did not. Kneeling, she brushed away a thin crust of snow, revealing a print beneath. The shape was rounded, padded, clawed, distinctly feline, but that was impossible. The Arctic tundra was no place for big cats. Lynxes didn't migrate this far north. Even if one had somehow wandered beyond its known range, there was no way it could be this big. Catherine pressed her gloved hand against the impression. It dwarfed any lynx print she had ever seen, far larger. A slow chill crept up her spine. "This doesn't make sense," she murmured. A sudden gust of wind howled through the frozen expanse, sending a flurry of snow swirling into the air. For the briefest moment, a strange sensation washed over her, an instinctive, primal awareness. She was being watched. Then at dawn on the fourth day, when the storm finally broke and the sky ignited in soft hues of pink and green beneath the ethereal shimmer of the northern lights, the truth revealed itself. Atop an ice ridge, 3 figures stood motionless. Catherine's breath hitched. The morning light cast their silhouettes in stark contrast against the endless white. 3 giant lynxes. Their fur was silvery white, so pristine, so seamlessly blended with the frozen landscape that, had it not been for the shifting glow of the aurora, she might have missed them entirely. A mother and her 2 nearly full-grown cubs. They did not run. They did not snarl. They did not lower their ears in warning. They simply stood there, golden eyes locked onto the humans below, unblinking, studying them in eerie silence. The wind howled through the camp, rattling the metal poles of the equipment. But still, the lynxes did not move. They watched. A ripple of unease passed through the team as more of them noticed the creatures. Some exchanged hushed whispers. Others simply stared. Someone reached for a camera. But as if sensing their scrutiny, the mother lynx tilted her head, ever so slightly. "They shouldn't be here," one of the researchers muttered. And yet they were. As the expedition progressed, the lynxes remained nearby. Each morning, at the exact same time, they returned, perched on the same ridge, moving soundlessly along the perimeter of the site. At first, the team dismissed it as curiosity. But as the days passed, it became clear this was not curiosity. The lynxes were patrolling. Their movements were deliberate, their watchful eyes never straying far from the humans. More than once, Catherine observed them stopping at specific locations in the snow, their massive paws pressing into the ice, claws raking against the frozen ground in slow, deliberate strokes. It was as if they were marking something, as if they were trying to tell them something. Then came the first incident. That night, as the last of the team prepared to retreat to their tents, the wind picked up, cutting through the camp with unrelenting force. A deep, ominous creaking shuddered through the frozen air. The generator, its massive frame weighed down by ice and snow, lurched violently to one side. Amanda was directly in its path. She had no time to react. Then, a blur of silver in the air, dark. The mother lynx moved, a streak of white against the black sky. She lunged from the snow with impossible speed, slamming into Amanda's side with such force that she was sent sprawling. A fraction of a second later, the generator crashed onto the ice, slamming into the ground with a deafening boom, right where Amanda had stood moments before. A cloud of snow and ice erupted into the air. For several seconds, the entire camp stood frozen in shock. Amanda lay on her side, breathless, her heart hammering against her ribs. Slowly, she turned her head. The lynx stood beside her. Their eyes met. The wind howled around them, but Amanda barely heard it. Her pulse pounded in her ears as she stared into those golden irises, large, intelligent, knowing. And in that moment, she understood. She saved me on purpose. The words left her lips before she even realized she had spoken them. A shiver passed through the team, not from the cold, but from the undeniable truth that now lingered in the air. This was not instinct. This was not random. The lynxes weren't just here. They weren't just watching. They knew something, and more importantly, they were trying to warn them. The ice was merciless, but despite the extreme conditions, the team pressed on. They worked tirelessly, digging, melting the ice with state-of-the-art equipment, pumping out the freezing water before it could refreeze. At dawn on the 8th day, the first major breakthrough came. The tail of the plane emerged from the snow. Its metal was warped by time but still unmistakable. The faded airline logo, emblazoned on the fuselage, confirmed what they already knew. TR-571 had been found, but something felt wrong. Emily was the first to notice. The ice surrounding the wreckage wasn't uniform. It looked as if it had been disturbed, trampled repeatedly over the decades, as if something had been circling the plane all these years. And then, the lynxes returned. They set out at dawn, moving silently through the snow. This time, they watched the excavation even more closely. And when the researchers descended into the wreckage, the cat's behavior changed. They began marking specific spots in the ice with deep scratches, warning them of what? No one knew. Then, amidst the frozen seats, untouched coffee cups and personal belongings scattered as if time had stopped, the most disturbing discovery was made. In the pocket of a first-class seat, carefully preserved from the cold, was a notebook, the diary of stewardess Laura Bennett, and its pages contained something no one wanted to read. December 25th, 1988, Christmas. Of 200 people, only 28 survived. Captain Henderson organizes shifts and rations the food. But we are not alone. We hear noises outside. They are not wolves. Something else is watching us. December 28th, 1988. The temperature has dropped to 52 Dixie. 4 more didn't make it through the night. We huddle together for warmth. But then, something strange happens. At the plane's entrance, we find fresh prey. 2 Arctic hares, as if someone placed them there, as if they knew we needed them. December 30, 1988, the lynxes appear every night. Their eyes glow in the darkness, but we are no longer afraid. No, they are not hunting us. They are protecting us. January 1989. Only 12 of us remain. The cold is claiming us, one by one. But they are still here. Tonight, the mother lynx brought me food. I watched her sit beside Maria, pressing close, sharing her warmth as she took her final breath. January 10th, 1989. I am the last one. The lynxes remain. They show me the safe paths through the ice. They guide me through the darkness. I am not afraid anymore. And for the first time, I no longer feel cold. The final page was worn with age, the ink faded and unsteady. But one sentence remained clear, etched into time like a whisper in the snow. No, one should die alone in this white silence. The camp stood in stunned silence as Laura Bennett's final words were read. This was not the delusion of a dying woman. As unthinkable as it seemed, the lynxes had been there from the very beginning, and somehow, they remembered. Laura's words echoed in the minds of every expedition member. Flight TR-571 had never truly been alone in that frozen wasteland. Here, in the heart of the Arctic ice, they learned that compassion knows no boundaries. Not between time, not between species. A silent, eternal remembrance for those who were lost, and for the extraordinary beings who guarded them. The lynxes are still there. Rare expeditions report glimpses of them, moving like shadows, silent, elusive, yet always watching. Did you enjoy this story? What do you think of the lynx's actions? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked this story, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Because sometimes, salvation comes from the most unexpected places. Even in the harshest, cold, compassion endures. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.